Joy is not the opposite of ambition. It is the engine. It's not indulgent. It's strategic. It's going to align your energy with your purpose, keep you productive, creative, and connected. It's not enough to just be an architect, a creative professional. The real question is, what are you doing? How are you making an impact if you don't know how to answer that question, or you feel too overwhelmed, stressed out, or burned out to even think about it? I'll help you get beyond the status quo trap in our profession to get inspired again. If you're ready, let's get architecting. Hey, Bright Lights, how are you doing today? I am so excited to share this experiment with you. I've been doing a lot of research for my book on salutogenesis, and one of the things that I'm looking at is the connection for our well-being between feeling joyful and happy versus feeling stressed. And if you want to know more about this, just go ahead and head over to my YouTube channel and look at the Space Doctor series. I just did a whole session on this using my salutogenesis deck that talks specifically about how this all works. And I will explain more during this episode as well. And I'm calling this the joy experiment because I'm going to explain how this works, but then I want you to try this out in your own life to do your own joy experiment and see what a game changer it really is. When we make joy a priority, it means we're going to follow what feels good. Now, why does that feel so counterintuitive? Why are we like, that's frivolous or selfish or lazy? It's because we believe that only if we put our nose to the grindstone or work really hard will we get results. Now, that might be true if you're digging a ditch, but it's probably not true in the career and the lifestyle that you have today. Just to give you a little bit of an example of how joy versus simply focusing on productivity can shift energy and make a difference. Imagine this. You walk into a meeting and the person leading is all business. They go right into it. They got a hard driving agenda. It's all about making decisions, assigning tasks, moving toward completion. But what's really missing in the energy of that meeting? It's so focused. It's so hard driving. It is just pulling open the flower, not letting it bloom. So in a meeting like that, there's no space for divergent thinking. There's no space for creativity because it's all about just getting something done that's already been predetermined. There's no space to even question whether it's the right thing to keep doing or if we need to pivot or course correct. It's just about getting things done. Now imagine a different version of that meeting that starts with greeting everyone, sharing an interesting story, one that, while it has an agenda, leaves room for consideration and a little bit of brainstorming, one that asks questions, one that invites us to question the premise, to say, what's the value of this? To say, so what? Those are the meetings that are going to produce far better results, the meetings that people are going to get really excited about attending. And that's because they have focused more on what feels good, what doesn't feel good. How could we make more of what feels good happen? They're encouraging people to be more intuitive, more tapped in, and to be honest about how the work they're doing is making them feel. When we do what most of us normally do, which is focusing on fear, struggle, overthinking, forcing, controlling, it's exhausting, right? You're just like, oh my God, I'm just pushing a boulder up a hill every single day. But when you're in joy, you're not down for the struggle anymore. Now you are focusing on, what do I want to do? What feels good? In doing that, you'll start to see that opportunities appear because you're looking for them, you're open to them, you trust yourself to take them. When you have that joyful energy, you're aligned with all the support and guidance that's available to you. People are naturally drawn to you. They want to be part of what you're up to. You're fun. This is what we want to focus on, is how can we make the decision to thrive and choose to see possibilities, not obstacles? How can we have more fun along the way and let go of the outcomes that often block us off to a better or easier way to get the things we say we want, as well as to be tuned into whether we still want those things anymore. What is joy? The technical definition is it is a positive, affective state, a short-term, high-energy emotion associated with pleasure, safety, and meaningful engagement. The other important thing about joy is that it can be cultivated intentionally. That's what a lot of us don't think about, and that's what this joy experiment that we are going to launch today is all about. You know, I geek out on the science behind all this stuff. What's important about joy is that it activates multiple systems in your brain. Those include neurotransmitters, reward pathways, and social bonding circuits. So it's not just a nice emotion to feel. This is important for your health, but it also is going to lead to you doing work and making connections in your life that are a lot more powerful and positive. Some of those neurotransmitters, and you might have heard of these. Dopamine, which is the reward chemical that keeps you motivated. Oxytocin, the connector hormone that is released when you feel trust, love, emotional closeness. What's really interesting about oxytocin is that it is mutually regulating with all of the stress hormones, which means if you are feeling happy and joyful, you automatically force all the stress to be lowered because they can't both be elevated at the same time. Serotonin, that's a mood stabilizer, and that helps you feel confident, optimistic. Endorphins, those help you to feel less pain. They also produce a sense of euphoria and ease. So this is just from feeling happy. That seems like a pretty good deal to me. If we look at your nervous system, we know that fight or flight is the sympathetic nervous system. And when we are happy, when we are calm, we're activating the parasympathetic, also known as rest and digest, which means when you're joyful, when you're calm, your body has less cortisol, that stress hormone. Your heart rate variability, which is a marker of resilience, is more stable, less variability, and your immune system works better. You're less susceptible to chronic stress, anxiety, and burnout. Sound familiar? So what does joy do for us in our careers? Well, it helps us to feel motivated, not just disciplined. In that example I gave of the two versions of a meeting, you can see the difference, right? When you are joyful, you're internally driven, so you are not as susceptible to external validation. So you want to show up, you want to solve problems, you want to create. You have the willpower and the grit, but you're not depleting yourself. You're in flow state, which means you are feeling energized by your work, not drained by it because it feels purposeful to you. Positive emotions broaden your thinking. Research done by psychologist Barbara Fredrickson showed Joy, curiosity, and gratitude expand your perception, your creativity, and even your cognitive flexibility. You're going to see more of the opportunities. They didn't just suddenly appear. They've been there. You've just been blocking them out because you have blinders on. You're going to be more willing to collaborate because you're not in that fearful protect, defend, prove energy. And you're going to recover from setbacks faster and be more resilient. You're going to have more adaptive and agile thinking, which if you're in a creative profession, that's your secret superpower. Joy improves decision making. We've said this before, that in a creative profession, there's no right answer. So how do you make decisions? When you're calm and joyful, your prefrontal cortex, which is the part of your brain responsible for planning, reasoning, and judgment, is more active. Stress turns that off. When you've heard me say this before, when we're stressed out, we deplete ourselves of the very resources we need most to get out of that situation. And joy is that antidote. Joy also enhances influence and connection. It's just those mirror neurons, right? We love being around people that make us feel good. We're drawn to energized, enthusiastic people. So when you feel joyful, you're more magnetic, but you're also naturally more empathetic to others. You're more present in the moment because you're not worrying so much. So that's going to naturally attract allies to you and build trust on your team. Joy creates resilience. Nobody's life path is a nice, clean, straight line. All of us are going to fail. All of us are going to struggle. But we need to be able to pivot. We can be joyful more often. We can bounce back. We don't see a setback as the clue that we were wrong and dumb and stupid and should have never tried that in the first place. We're able to say, well, that is just one way that doesn't work. I learned something. We can stay grounded. When you have a purpose, you will do something no matter what, and you won't care about whether you're embarrassing yourself, putting yourself out there, or asking for help, or encountering a setback. You're going to do this thing come hell or high water. That's what joy does for you. It keeps you more grounded in your purpose. It also helps you to have perspective. You don't go into the perfectionism and the imposter syndrome. You don't overperform and deplete yourself. You can see when you can tap the brakes or let it go or delegate or let go of the control. That's what happens when you feel joyful. It's really easy to fall into the trap. Many of us do this, believing that we have to delay joy, that we can't celebrate until we put our success in the future. We believe that having fun is a reward. Instead, I really want you to think that having fun is the portal. It's not the reward. It's not the end game. It is the whole point of this. It is the process. So now that we know joy is not the opposite of ambition, it is the engine. It's not indulgent, it's strategic. It's going to align your energy with your purpose, keep you productive, creative, and connected. That sounds good. You're like, how do I do that? Good news is joy is trainable. So I'm going to go back to my brain science stuff and talk about neuroplasticity, which means that we can rewire our brains at any age, at any state in life. Neurons that fire together, these are the habits we have, the beliefs we have, are chains. And you could think about it like a river that starts to form as water flows down a mountain, right? It carves a path. But we can divert that river. We can train, if you will, that river to take a different path. And that's what neuroplasticity is. The more you deliberately choose to experience joy, the more you're going to shift. Some of the ways to do that are gratitude journaling. And I know I've talked about this in previous episodes. Focusing on gratitude isn't just some woo-woo concept. It actually does rewire your brain and make you more receptive to opportunities. Having fun through play and movement is important. Can you take a walk? Can you play a game outside with your kids? What can you do that's fun? Practicing mindfulness makes a huge difference. It lets you be fully present. The present is 0 point energy where everything is possible. Anxiety and worry and fear, those are things that keep us stuck either in the past or the future. We don't have any control over either one of them. All we have control of is the present moment, which is why mindfulness matters so much. Acts of kindness. It feels good to help others to make a difference. So that helps us feel more joyful. And of course, being connected. It's so easy in the modern world to be isolated. We know we have a loneliness epidemic. Being around other people in the real 3D world, not just virtually, literally strengthens your brain's capacity to feel and sustain joy. Over time, you will then shift. It's like working out in the gym. We've rerouted that river. We're carving that new path. And that is going to make us less anxious, less vigilant, more trusting, more open. This is my cheat code for joy. Think about your joy place. If you want to feel joyful in literally seconds, list 3 things that make you really, really happy. So maybe it's your child. The minute you think of them, and it might even be at a certain age when they were super cute, not before they became annoying teenagers or something like that, or your pet, or something you just love to do that just makes you so happy every time you do it. Like maybe you love to sketch at the beach. Just list 3 of those things and focus on how you feel when you think about them. And if you do that, you'll find that literally in seconds, you have that glow, that joy, because you're thinking about something that is just total joy. There's no room for it to be less than that. That's your joy place. And you can go to your joy place at any point during your day. So if you have to write these things down, put them in your phone, have little reminders that pop up on your calendar with these things on them, focus on going to your joy place as much as possible, but especially as you start your day. Now let's look at some actual changes you can make in your day. So think about 2 to 3 simple pleasures you could add to your daily routine. When I try to have my coaching clients do these sort of things as part of changing up their routines, a lot of them skip this part. Honestly, the harder it is to think about doing these things, the more you need to do it. And it doesn't have to be that hard. So just to give you an idea, one that I added was dancing to a really upbeat song in the morning. So just pick a song that you love that is just so fun, so energizing, and play it. Right? That takes, 3 minutes of your day, but it infuses your day with joy. You can do that. Do you like a comedian? Could you listen to a YouTube video of them performing? Maybe it's just a 10 or 15-minute clip that could bring you joy. It's quick. It's easy. Think of those 2 to 3 things and commit to doing them. And then the last part of the joy experiment is going to be imagine your perfect day. Think about what it would really mean to do whatever you wanted to do. That means no chores, no errands, no obligation. How would that feel? What would you choose to do? I want you to really think about that. Again, a lot of people struggle because we're so weighed down with the have to do's that we have completely disconnected from the want to do's. Spend some time, really lock in on those. And then once you've flushed that out, what that day could really look like, think about how you could make every day look more like that. It's not going to be exactly like that because you're still going to have to go to work. You're still going to have to go to your kid's parent-teacher conference, whatever it is. But are there things that you unlock in that perfect day scenario that you could make a regular part of your daily existence? So that is the joy experiment. I hope that you have learned a lot about the science behind joy, why joy is good for you spiritually, emotionally, physically, and mentally, all four bodies. How joy actually will help you have a better career with more success and fulfillment, a higher quality of life. And then I hope you will join the joy experiment and start to make these shifts in your life and then tell me about it. Make sure to send me an email. It's angela@architectingpodcast.com. You can DM me. I am on LinkedIn Architecting page there. There's also the Architecting Podcast Instagram account. You can DM me there. I want to know how the joy experiment is working for you, what results you are getting. All right, everyone, have fun with this. That's the whole point, right? It's not supposed to be hard or a burden. It's supposed to be fun, and I will see you next time. Thanks for listening. If you want even more content, head on over to architectingpodcast.com and subscribe to my newsletter and get some great free downloads while you're there. Be sure to follow me on social media. On Instagram at Architecting Podcast, Facebook and LinkedIn pages are Architecting, and the YouTube channel Architecting Podcast. Stay inspired.